Hello everyone, it's me again, Steve Doji here, back to more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And as you can see, we have plenty of new Dragon Ball Sparking Zero information here, and I actually have it all translated already. So without further ado, we're not going to waste too much time, let's get into this. Obviously, Dragon Ball Sparking, I'm going to call it Season 2 is happening. We already got the first few updates, which is the Mission 100 mode, which added all the, new missions. But we're also going to be getting Survival mode, new characters, as you can see, new transformations, new stages, new game modes, but that's all for like later. We're not getting everything at the same time. We do know that for a fact. A good example is stuff like survival mode and new characters are actually coming last. So here we actually have obviously the new ultimate with Goku and Vegeta, and they do actually straight up say here that the ultimate of Goku and Vegeta, you can now use the cooperative technique Fire that Broly, featuring, Goku Super and Vegeta Super, right? Basically, new ultimate. We also actually say that costumes that change your ultimate blast have been added, so you can switch them freely to enjoy a full experience. Now, this obviously means that characters that have multiple ultimate attacks, a good example is Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan. In the story mode, we see that he has multiple ultimate attacks. We can finally take Father Son Kamehameha off. Not that many people take that off, but we can actually finally replace it with Raging Masenko, which does look super good, and honestly, in some situations, is better than Father Son Kamehameha for this character. This also means that we'll be able to get Super Kamehameha on every variant of Goku, because you guys might remember during the story mode, there are a ton of Gokus that have Super Kamehameha, but when you play the actual game, they have their real ultimate attacks like Spirit Bomb, Kaioken Spirit Bomb, Warp Kamehameha, etc, right? So we'll actually be able to have versions of Goku and Vegeta that don't just have like super Spirit Bomb from Tournament of Power as his ultimate, and we'll be able to play versions of Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta especially that don't have Final God Explosion. The reason why we obviously want that is because, Final God Explosion is basically Final Explosion, except it just takes away half of your health instead of all of it. And that kind of sucks. I just want my ultimate attack to do good damage without also taking away my own life bar. So we'll actually have moves or costumes available to us to actually finally change our moves. Any kind of unique variant of a character you see during the story mode or anything like that, we can actually have those variants available for ourselves in offline battles, in online battles, etc, etc. So it's very cool to see. And by the way, this isn't probably just going to be with Ultimate Blast. It'll probably be with Super Attack as well. A good example is the Android 18 skin you can buy in the shop. That only changes your regular Super Attack. That does not change your Ultimate Attack. So yeah, I actually can't wait to see about that. That's probably the biggest thing to me personally. The fact that we'll actually be able to use the other variants of characters that we see throughout the story modes. Hopefully this does mean that we can play as Saiyan Saga, Super Saiyan Vegeta, but let's hold our horses, right? So some things here is that they actually describe the Part 1 stuff as new characters. They're saying Super Saiyan Bardock is a new character, which I guess transformations are characters in this game, so that is quite fitting, right? They do say that Bardock already in the game now has, a power provided by transformation. They don't say whether this can go in Dragon Ball Super Bardock or not, but since it's the same character, we're just going to assume that it does. Demon King Piccolo also reproduces wide-range attacks shown in the original work, deliver a powerful blow to opponents, even from a distance. I think this is just them saying, hey, Demon King Piccolo has a bunch of explosive attacks because he's known for explosive demon wave and his eye laser, etc, etc. I don't think this is anything like special. We're just saying that Demon King Piccolo is in the game, and to be honest, about time. And the last but not least is Super 17. If you put both Android 17, which is apparently base 17, and Hellfighter 17, so we actually do have a version of that now. I don't know if he's going to be a whole separate character. That'd be very interesting. I think he's just going to be a costume realistically, but if they make a second character of 17, that's pretty interesting how they didn't say that. I wonder if his moves are different because GT17 doesn't fight that much. I think the only instance you can get of him fighting is really him just, bullying 18 and Krillin and maybe attacking a few people, but like that's it. But yeah, you can fuse them in battle to create Super 17, who is the actual most hyped character that people want to see here, because Super 17 has been basically getting requested since the game has come out. And Super 17, honestly, other than the fact that he's really, cool and he's a GT villain, so he should be in the game. If Baby is in the game and Omega's in the game, he should be in the game. But he's actually going to be pretty meta-defining, because all the key-absorbing androids that kind of dominated the game's meta really early on in the game's life, they were low DP, so they basically weren't a threat. All you had to do was put on Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and they weren't an issue, right? But he's going to be like 7-8 DP minimum, because he fights Super Saiyan 4 Goku, so he's going to have to be like 8 DP realistically. He's going to be 8 DP and he has key absorption. That is going to be very, very terrifying online. I'm actually very curious to see how nightmarish that gets. And next, we have the new costumes and skills category. Now, they only do show Gohan here, but again, we already know that we can change our costumes to do even more, which is excellent. They do say here that Gohan Super Saiyan 2 obviously has a new Ultimate Blast along with a new costume, and this is obviously based on the BoJack movie where he fires the Kamehameha, then flies through you. BoJack already has this move, but Gohan's version is way more movie accurate, even with the big explosion after he flies flies through you, which is something Bojack's version doesn't have. So Gohan's version of the move is just like extra crisp. I can't wait for that to be in the game, as well as the many other moves that they're obviously hiding from us, because no way this is going to be like the other DLC trailers where they show you everything in that trailer, and that's literally everything, and there's no surprises. So I'm really hoping that this isn't the only new Ultimate, because that would be unfortunate, to say the least. Number 3, they actually say new stage, and we can obviously tell it's Kame House. But one interesting line here is that one of the lines here says something about there are multiple stages. Now, this could just mean that there's a Kame House like afternoon and a night stage for Kame House as well. I don't know if Kame House had a night stage in the original Tenkaichi 3. I actually don't remember that. I don't think that was a thing. So it could be multiple versions of the Kame House, or it could mean that Kame House isn't the only stage we're getting, which would be super duper fire. I'm hoping that that's the actual translation and that it's not just an evening and a night version of Kame House. I do hope that this is actually teasing that Kame House isn't the only map, because they do say something about multiple stages that make you go, this is exactly where I want to be. You know, this is exactly where I want to do battle. This is exactly where I want to fight. So there might actually be more stages than just Kame House, which is going to be delicioso. And the last thing here is a new mode. What will happen is that in this new mode, there's going to be icons on the map, and there's going to be something going on. I'm assuming, okay, here's what I want to assume. I want to assume it's like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, where you fly to these locations on the map and you fight these specific characters. We can see the icons for some of these characters here: Master Roshi, Cell, Vegeta. You know, we can make out that these are some of the new characters, right? I would say my guess here is that this is probably going to be some sort of weird exploration kind of Dragon Sim mode, kind of like the Android 18 dating minigame. I want to assume that because, again, they did add Mission 100. Mission 100 isn't just going to have the Mission 100 mode. It's obviously going to have survival slapped onto it and all these other different features. And I think this will probably slide into that, because that is part of the new category. You know, the category isn't just Ultimate Battle anymore now. It's an Ultimate Battle featuring Mission 100 and Custom Battle and all these other like things to it, right? So I think this will basically be the new version of Dragon Sim, because again, Master Roshi's icon, Cell's icon, Vegeta's icon. I think that's a question mark, so that could be like a random event. Maybe if you fly here on the map, it'll be a random event. We can see that this is a big map, right? So this could be like Tenkaichi. This could be like Budokai Tenkaichi, where you fly around a big world, like a sim world, and you go to these locations, and there's these cool things at these locations, right? For example, the bottom right, that's definitely a stage, right? That looks like buildings. I don't think that's a character's face icon. That looks like a stage. So this new mode might be like the story mode in the Tenkai or in the Budokai 3 games and the Tenkaichi 2 games, where you fly around the big open world and land down at these places. Or again, it could be like Dragon Sim, where it's kind of like a procedurally like, oh, here's random stuff going on, plus you level up and fight during this. They don't say too much about it. They literally just say new mode, and they're like, oh, it's going to be a brand new experience. What's going to happen here? So when I say brand new experience, by the way, I don't mean like, I'm very sure they mean for the game, not for this series. Because if it was for the series, I think they would have said that. It's just for the game. So it could just be Dragon Sim again, which is fine. The Dragon Sim was absolutely fire when it came on Tenkaichi 3. But I'm just saying that this new mode is probably the thing I want to say it's the thing I'm most hyped for, but again, being able to just like change your characters' like costumes and outfits and their ultimate attacks and all that stuff, that's just so good, because there's so many versions of these characters that are basically unplayable that we're just gonna get dropped on us all of a sudden, right? So there's gonna so many versions of Frieza, Goku Black, Future Trunks, Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, so many versions of these characters that have moves locked off to them, because the game was just weird about, you know, how it wants to do character movesets. And honestly, I think that's a good place to end the video. All it really says, I think, past this point is, you know, hey, we're going to do more stuff for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, naturally, we're going to stay tuned to that. So yeah, I actually can't wait to see more about this. So obviously, we'll have to wait till next month to see more about the V-Jump, but then obviously we have to wait for Dragon Ball Battle Hour. The Dragon Ball Battle Hour is coming soon. So let's be optimistic as possible. Sparking Zero has already let us down multiple times. I think now is the time to be somewhat optimistic. Look, optimistic at games launch, and it didn't do its part. But then, let's be real, none of us are hyped for any of the DLCs other than playing the singular character. For example, Beast Gohan and Daima SJ4 Goku, etc., right? So this is the one chance they have to impress us. I don't think it would hurt too much to have a little faith in Bandai Namco. I do hope that there is more characters than what's just advertised. I do hope more stages isn't just, you know, a night and afternoon version of Kame House. I do hope we get more costumes with more unique moves. I do like that we have costumes that give us, you know, some of the older moves in general. And I hope this new game mode is actually more than just, hey, look, it's the same experience over and over and over again. You know, I hope it's actually something cool and unique. But regardless, I think that's a great place to end the video, guys. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, obviously, again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, to greatly support the channel, and leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, fellas. I do love you all. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you fellas all next time. Love you all. Take care, and peace. Bye. Oh, I can't wait. I actually can't wait for this. I cannot wait for the new ultimate attacks. But yeah, that'll be it. I love you all, and take care, and peace. Bye bye.